Well, let's ask Tom McIntosh to extend this discussion. You've written some really terrific long pieces, something old, something new for Dizzy, and then that I really love the one you did with the New York Jazz Sextet. Whose child is it? So, would you add on to what Gunther was talking about the importance of extended composition?
Well, the first thing that rushes in on me, seeing this assembly of great talent that has really affected the whole world as far as this great music called jazz is concerned, I just want to, it's time for me to pay some personal dues. Roy Haynes, for instance, who was here just a second ago, Q calls him Agnes. Roy Haynes made me appreciate, as a jazz musician, don't play a note if it is not driven by a rhythmic impulse. If you are not reflecting some inner rhythm in your soul, don't play a note. He made me understand that, along with Dizzy. And that, for me, helped me appreciate the whole concept of composition, that at the core of composition is time. And so you must respect rhythm, as Candido has already brought our attention, above it all. So I want to thank Roy Haynes for making that very, very clear to me. I'm looking at Frank Foster over here. The first time I heard the word stroll, it was Frank Foster at a jam session at Smalls, and there were some boss musicians, and I just felt privileged to be on the stand. Quincy Jones' favorite trombone player was not there. A guy named, this is a joke, of course, Steve Pulliam. Steve Pulliam. Anyway, that's a private joke. I'll have to refresh Quincy on that one. But Frank Foster told the rhythm section to stroll. What? Don't play. He tore up the piece we were playing, something tough. He played it by himself, and he made it very, very clear to every jazz musician, you're not playing well, you don't have it together unless you can play everything. Generate the sense of the melody, generate the sense of the time, generate the sense of the harmonic structure, all in yourself. Thank you, Frank. Thank you. And the music now took on another life. So I just want to say thank you publicly to John Hendricks for making me appreciate that, in composition, before you write a note, say it in words first. That way, your composition will always have a spiritual underpinning to what you're doing. The audience senses a story unfolding. Thank you, John. Now I have to also confess to my dear colleague here, who I've seen through the years and ran across, and Gunther Schuller. He came up with a book, The Early Jazz, and exposed a number of things I'd never, ever knew before. And the man, he demonstrated he's a superb historian, and he made me understand a number of things, and one of them was that the original jazz scale was not the 5-tone scale that we now consider the jazz mode, that it was an 8-tone scale, and the last note was a half step higher than the tonic. I'd never heard that. So I wrote a piece of music to demonstrate that. I now have to confess that I have reworked that piece, and I call it Never Say You Heard It From Me, because I got it from Gunther Schuller. Now, I have to take, I have to...
By the way, that scale came from Africa. Got to say that.
I also want to thank Quincy Jones publicly because he made a point of everything that, Quincy was the first man who went to Hollywood, black jazz composer who took Hollywood by storm. So so I went there, and Quincy Jones made a point of inviting me in everything that he took part in. He was asked to give a talk at the UCLA, get Macintosh up here. People were asking for him to do, no, you want Tom McIntosh to do this. He invited me to his home for one of the greatest parties I've ever attended. Everybody, the who's who were there, and when you walked on this wonderful estate, he had cascading fountains of champagne flowing.
It was wine.
But I have a bone to pick with him because he got me addicted to what he was serving. Namely, he was serving as the hors d'oeuvres chitlins. The main course was chitlins. The dessert was chitlins. So Quincy, you got me addicted to, guess what? Now, I'm looking at David Vega here, and I just feel that I should publicly make the disclosure that this man's his study of everything relating to the harmonic structure and intervals and so forth, his work made me very, very cognizant of the fact that anything you hear that you think is important, you'd better know where it came from. Otherwise, it will tell on you. So get to know where it came from, and that way start your development from there. Thank you, David.